So you're an Indo-Canadian currently living in Berlin. How is all those different experiences with other cultures interpreting your music?
To be honest, I moved to Europe because, kind of in search for the freest place to live, And I gotta say, I'm so proud to be in Greece and to know that, all the stuff that's been happening here, it's been happening all over the world, but in Greece, the children of the revolution, they rise up and they make noise and they cause some damage, and I think that is what's needed all over the world, and I mean, for a long time, Greek philosophy has been studied, but the new Greek philosophy of the children, they know what's going on.
Yeah, it's like...
Fuck the police.
You played at Plisskën and not many people knew you, but after the show everyone was really excited and everyone was talking about your appearance on stage and the costumes. How important is your visual part of your music?
You know what? Everything I do musically, I think I like kind of follow a tradition of gospel music and real rock and roll music, and that was all music that could transform suffering into joy, and that's why I play music. I think that people all over the world are suffering just as much as they've been suffering, in all of time, and we just offer a little bit of I wouldn't say salvation, but I would say some joy, and some. It's nice to see people get down.
Yeah, that's one thing I really want to ask you. Is that you seem to have a very spiritual aspect, and all your live shows is more like an experience, like an initiation. Do you really feel that? Do you want your audience to get that?
I started playing music when I was about 17 years old, and I can say that my whole life I've always felt that music is my religion. There's lots of written books that are really magnificent and stuff, but to be honest, the most spiritual I've ever felt, when I listen to the music of people like Sun Ra, like Phil Koran, like the Beatles, like the Rolling Stones, Bo Diddley, everyone is always searching for a way to transform pain into pleasure.
Okay, you seem to have several music projects since the beginning of your career with different approach, each one. How important is you as an artist to always keep busy and experiment with different kinds of music?
You know what? The psychologists, they call it ADD, and it's a total lie, that kids are, it's true though. It's I was really blessed to have, crazy parents, but great parents, who really supported me in playing any kind of music that I was involved in. And I remember my mother came to my first punk show when I was 17 years old. And no, well, this is the story, it's really funny. So my mother was sitting in the front row, and the opening band was called Institute of Proctology.
Okay.
Right? And they were a noise punk band, right? And one of my buddies was a singer, and he didn't know that my mother was sitting in the front row. And he got up on stage, and the first thing he did was he's like, "Fuck you!" and spat beer on the whole front row, and on my mom's face, And I was in the back, and I was like, oh my god, I was ready to kill my buddy, Couldn't believe it. But then, what stopped me from killing my best friend, or one of my best friends, was to see my mother, an Indian woman, just pull out a napkin from her purse. I'm just okay,
listen to
please play more music, And it was funny because she whenever she would listen to our music, she'd be like, why don't you play slower?
Music. If you have to choose two historical figures to be your parents, who would they be?
And I'm in Greece.
Your mother is a
See,
very
now this is-
historical figure.
This is a tainted question because if I was anywhere else in the world, I might have a different answer. But I am in Greece. Sorry, and when I was a kid, I read like Greek mythology. You know, when I was like 10 or 12, you know, and I loved that shit. You know, like reading about Medusa and Zeus and Aphrodite and you know all these wonderful things. So the Greek answer would be, I would probably like to be a planet. I wouldn't want to be Mars. It's too much war.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Jupiter would be an interesting one, but Sun Ra. Actually, Sun Ra is Saturn.
Yeah.
So in that case, I would easily take Jupiter or Uranus. Not yours in particular, but just
But
Uranus.
Uranus. So, if you were able to establish a World National Day once in a year, what would that be?
That is a great question. I would definitely have Sun Ra Day, and I think that Sun Ra, you know, if you don't know him, you should find all his music because the first time I heard Sun Ra's music, that was when I felt like I heard like the Bible, you know, so to speak. You know, it's even more beautiful than the Bible. You know, it's about the universe and a lot of people forget that the power of music and the power of life is to be able to create myth, you know? And that's what I learned from Sun Ra, that if you create a myth and you believe in it, you know, then you become that myth, you know? And that's why everyone in the world, you know, when they think about Sun Ra, they think about he's in space, you know, he's up there, he's Saturn, you know? But I actually went to Sun Ra's grave in Birmingham, Alabama. Actually, just about a few months ago. You know, I was going there as like a pilgrimage, you know, and it's really, I was a bit heartbroken, you know, to see that someone who affected the world musically so crazy, you know, fucking Lady Gaga even sings Sun Ra, you know. Someone who is so important in the universe of music, when you see his grave, it doesn't even say Sun Ra on it, you know, and it has a Christian cross on it, right? And man, he was not Christian, he was from outer space, you know. So my message to all of you musicians out there and artists is to create a myth and follow it till the end, wherever that end may be.
Are you children of the revolution? We're gonna make it happen. You know why? Because you live in fucking paradise.
Fuck the PCIV. Kill a people life.